Hi everyone and welcome to another episode by Poor Man Gamer. It has been 6 weeks and counting since I last posted anything. I have a perfectly legitimate reason. I'm a family man, I got 2 kids, work has been incredibly busy, and at the end of the day when you have to choose between family, work, and posting videos, as much as I love this community, life has priorities, and it's been itching at me for a long time to want to post something. So I'm actually really excited to get back into this game. I'm going to tell you guys the conundrum that I have when it comes to posting these things, okay? The biggest challenge of trying to publish good content is the only way I'm going to publish good content is if I keep it original. And I can't get good video game footage if I'm constantly stuck in the low levels and I don't have the time to play as much as I would want to. And so a lot of times when I want to make a video, I log into the game, I realize I'm so far down a totem pole that it's just really hard to post something worthwhile. So with some of these challenge games, I was hoping that I can do that. So here I'm going to show you guys a deck. Hopefully I have some good enough footage to show you the concept of the deck, and you guys can go ahead and try exploring it. The game has definitely changed a lot since I last played, there's no doubt about that, but I believe this deck still works. I'm going to call this deck an oldie but goodie. It's old but good. What it does is I use the most basic troops, which is the missile squad, the laser troopers, and the flame troops, and I use a cyber wheel with the bikes, and then I go inferno and phantom. The same rules apply as I've always said before, which is try your best to contest all 3 missiles. Where possible, try to go 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 against your opponents. Like, look at here. He's just letting me slaughter him to go 3-on-1 because he walked right into my laser traps of death. He's pushing his bike across, and at this stage of the game, the key of this deck is this. Keep your units cheap in the beginning, try to keep the missile going where possible, and then dominate the map with infernos and with phantoms. And much as possible, try to keep the missile count going. If not possible, then you throttle back a little bit and try to let the opponent charge it up for you. This deck still depends upon charging the missile quickly. You'll notice my Inferno is only at level 8, so it's not like it's super strong or anything. And you notice how here, with my Infernos, this despite being level 8 and all my guys being level 10, they're not really that strong. And that's why I'm trying the best I can to show you this deck here. It is still effective. The downside of the Infernos at low levels is you don't get the one-shot beauty, right? Without getting that one-shot goodness, it sometimes makes it really difficult to win. I was hoping that I could steal this missile from him very quickly, but I noticed that I've let it stall off for too long, and now he's got the cyber wheels, or the cyborgs. Fortunately, he basically allows himself to get burned, and this is the stage of the game where the tide kind of turns. I've got no harvester now, he's got an obelisk on the map, he's got a double harvester, he's able to roll up really strong temple and knot units, and at this stage of the game it looks like I'm dead on the water. The beauty of this deck, and why I like it, is there's intrinsically a lot of balance to it. It allows you to use infantry to have good counters against everything, and as I always say, where possible, try to challenge all 3 missile pads, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. There's 2 ways for you to contest missile pads. You can either try to win, like for example in the middle there, you can win the matchup by having the advantage, or you could just not lose the matchup, which is on the bottom right. My flame troops doesn't lose the matchup against missile squad, against the bikes, and on the top I do win the matchup against his infantry. And when you're challenging a missile pad, that is usually one of the best ways of doing it, is to either gain the advantage or just not lose. So there's not really tight matches here, unfortunately, because I'm still kind of stuck in the lower levels. But it is fun, still, to get back into this game. And I hope that by showing you guys this deck, a lot of you guys right now who are kind of stuck in the low-level Masters, early on Platinum League, give this deck a try. So here's how you use this deck. You start up with a Harvester, and then you either roll out with a Cyber Wheel, preferably, Or if you want, you could roll it out with a laser troops or the flame squad. The flame squad can be replaced with the rifleman, which I'll show you later. I usually don't recommend that strategy as much because then you're really down on count in terms of firepower. Here, I go ahead and do the best I can to pressure him. Notice how I use my bikes to block off his pit bull, so in that way I can continue to do damage. He's obviously with that shoot, what's that charging thing called? Glowing orb vehicle charger that supercharges vehicles. I swap places the cyber wheel with my laser troops so I can gain a tactical advantage in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and keep pressing his harvester and draw his attention away from the missile. That chargy orb glow, I really wish I knew what it was called. M something. MCV? MSV? MSV, I think. MSV, there you go. So the charging MSV, it really does make vehicles really powerful. And that's the beauty of this deck, is it does offer a good balance because the laser squads do a really good job to counter against vehicles, whereas the infernos and everything do pretty good damage against basically everything. If I had level 10 infernos versus level 8, I would be even stronger. Why do I keep pressuring his harvester? For one reason, I want to keep the pressure on him. Right? So in that way, I'm trying to do as much damage as I can. I know he's trying to use his stupid healing drone, and man oh man is that thing powerful. Fortunately, my Inferno is able to take out his harvester, and this is where it kind of gets a little interesting. If I do not keep the missile charge at all times, like you see here, I don't realize how powerful that MSV really makes vehicles. And that's where this deck with a very basic balance of laser troops does come in handy. I was hoping my Infernos would be able to get close enough to him and just drop a bomb and roast everything alive. Unfortunately, couldn't get the damage I needed. And so, you know, I lose that second missile. I'm going to go ahead and send my laser squads now. And the whole point of the laser squad is this. I'm letting him charge up the missile for me as much as possible. The longer this game goes, the more I feel like I'm going to be at a disadvantage. I've got a mix of every single unit, and right now I'm just biding my time. I'm allowing his... what's that stupid thing called? The one that shoots 3 bullets at me. His Choop Choop Choo, the one that kills vehicles. His Choop Choop Choo is, I'm allowing him to attack my infantry units because it doesn't do much damage against it. I've got my Inferno standing by, and what I'm doing is waiting for his units to jump onto the tile, and then I'm gonna go stand in there and dominate the space. I don't know why, I guess he overcommitted on his anti-air. Now he's totally stuck, he doesn't even contest the pad. It allows me to very quickly wipe him out. And I'm not sure why he moved his Jujuju, but because he moved his Jujuju, I was able to get the win. So this is basically how you use this deck. Keep the missile charged as best as you can. Stick with the cheap units. If you don't like the flame troops, there is an alternative here in which you can go ahead and use riflemen, and I use it to great effect. I'll show you guys a replay here. This guy actually does a really good job in the beginning. I think what he wanted to do was he was probably inspired by YouTube videos he watched from Blade using the mammoth tank to crush everyone. So you will see that he is definitely using his deck, and he tries over and over again to try to pump out his mammoth tank. This deck is, like I said, roll out with a cyber wheel. Don't let the missile stall out as much as possible. This guy here is giving me a little dance, and he actually does a pretty good job stalling out the missile. Like, what a pain he is right now. Look at him. Oh, look, I'm such a pro on microwing. What the heck? Well, you know, I haven't played in a while, dude. Cut me some slack, alright? Just get off the tile and let me charge it up. So I do what I can. Now, this is what separates players who are okay from the ones who are good, and from the ones who are good to the ones who are great. As the game progresses, people are okay managing 1 or 2 units here and there, but they tend to get a little flustered as the game goes on. And so what I'm going to do now is very clear in his strategy. He wants to roll out really powerful tech lab units. And so I'm going to pressure his harvester here. And you'll notice, and you'll see here, like, my objective is to get this missile going as quick as possible. So I'm going to continue to keep the pressure on. The reason I like Inferno is because it leaves damage. That flame that it leaves behind just continues to do damage. I'm going to go ahead and let him take out my Cyber Wheels because I have no use for them whatsoever. I'm going to roll up my Phantom to try to defend my Inferno. But the drawback of the Phantom nowadays when it goes up against the Hammerhead is it doesn't quite do enough damage to fully wipe him out. And remember what I said about the beauty of this deck in terms of balance? I'm able to roll out Bikes as my anti-air. I am able to roll out my Laser Squads as my anti-air. And that's really the beauty of this deck, is it really gives me a lot of options in what I can do. My Inferno unfortunately wasn't able to press his advantage against all of his air dominance. But as you can see here, by simply rolling out Laser Troops, which are one of the slowest units in the game, but really can pack quite a punch, you notice it very, very effectively allows me to contest everything. He kind of forgot the point of this game. He was so obsessed with trying to pump out mammoth tanks, that the point of this game, if you lose 2 missiles, you lose the game. So this is how you use this deck: is you keep the missile going, you pray that they don't roll a Tech Lab or a Temple or Not units fast enough, and you keep the missile count going, and you use these cheap troops to try to keep the ball rolling. That's really all I have to share, because I really don't have too much gameplay that's competitive, unfortunately. But guys, I hope you enjoy this video, and yes, I do miss you guys, and I hope to post videos more often. Have a great night. Take care.